Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to my YouTube Live Tidings and Trimmings Stamp of the Month class online. Every month we do a different bundle. This is only the second month that we've been doing these classes, and so it's still new, and I'm not gonna lie, I still get stop. I still get butterflies, and it makes me really nervous. But I cannot wait to stamp with you tonight. So if this is the first time you've tuned in for one of these card classes, let me sort of explain to you how it works. So this is my Stamp of the Month card class. And so every month I'll be featuring a different stamp set. And this one is Tidings and Trimmings. It's a Christmas set, but it's actually from the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. So you can get it right now. It's not in the mini catalog. And I will create a card kit. And you can purchase the card kit to follow along and make the projects with me during the free live class, which is what is happening tonight. Now, all the card kits are sold out, so if you didn't get one, you've missed your chance. However, you can still get the PDF, which has all the instructions and measurements and everything that you need to create the project. So you can get this and create your own kit at home. You can follow along and watch later, or you can just use it as a supplement. So it's going to, I'll show you really quick. The PDF will have instructions that look like this with measurements and photos and everything that you need to create the project. So this is available on Etsy. You can get it right now for $10 and download it immediately. So if you want to open another tab and do that, then you can do it while we're live, even if you want, or afterwards. tinyurl.com/July 2021 PDF is the link to get it. I've pinned it there in the chat on YouTube as well. So hopefully you can find it if you need it. So today we are going to walk through making all 5 projects that I've designed using the Tidings and Trimmings. So I'm using the kit. So if you have the kit at home, you can follow along and do everything that I'm doing. And if you're interested in getting a kit next time, make sure to leave a comment below so you can get on my mailing list and be the first to know about new kits. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to feature for next month. So if you have some ideas, let me know. Leave me a comment. I'm thinking probably something from the new mini catalog, maybe something fall-ish. So leave a comment if you have an idea. And let me know what you think. That doesn't start until August 3rd. So all of this stuff is available right now. In fact, the designer paper that I'm using, Tidings of Christmas, is on sale right now in July, and it ends August 2nd. So you have from now until Monday. So there are 48 sheets in this pack. It's a 6x6 pack. And I'm looking for my flyer. You get 8 each of 6 different patterns. So the card kit included 1 of each pattern. And so this is one of 9 papers that are on sale. These are all the favorites. 15% off in the online store until Monday, August 2nd. So you can find those at juliedavison.com/shop. Are you guys ready for some stamping? Yes! Leave a comment. I want to know, are you following along tonight, or are you just watching? Either way is totally fine. I'm going to try not to go too fast. If you're watching on the replay, you'll have the luxury of being able to pause and catch up if I do go too fast. Just an idea of time. Last month, this class was almost 2 hours. Which was a long time to sit and stamp and talk. I'm not sure we can do it in much less. I'm kind of aiming for like an hour and a half, so we'll see how it goes, but I just want you to know what you're getting into. If you're just sitting down to watch tonight, grab some popcorn, M&Ms. Amanda, I saw your post, and so I grabbed some M&Ms. I might need a midway break. All right, I'm going to sit down. I do have my laptop open, and I can see your comments coming through, so hopefully I'll be able to keep up. Does the kit include the stamps? That's a good question. So there are lots of options with this card kit. I tried to make it so that everybody could participate. That you can get the card kit by itself, which includes the PDF instructions. You can add a printout of the instructions if you want. You can add the stamp set at a discount, or you can add the stamp set and the dies at a discount. So lots of options for everyone to participate. If you want it to include the stamp set, it can. If you don't want the stamp set and you just want the card kit, that's an option too. So great question. Thank you so much. Dare to Dream Big for asking that. All right, it looks like you guys are ready to go, and it looks like many of you are just watching tonight, which is totally fine. So unless I see that someone is actually stamping live with me, I'm not gonna purposely go too slow. All right, so the card kit includes the designer paper, like I said, which you will be cutting on your own. And I do have some pieces of white cardstock that I'm going to use to stamp and die cut images. So instead of trying to, cut all these little tiny pieces for you, I tried to simplify things with the card kits. I'm going to start with the first one in the PDF, which is, let me pull out the finished card so you can see, is this card here. And that looks like the top card. Wonderful. So let's grab the designer paper that we need. For this card, we're going to use this white pattern with the green leaves and also some of the red stripe pieces. So let's go ahead and cut that designer paper first. I really love being able to showcase a large piece of designer paper in the background. I think it's kind of a fun way to add a layer but still add some color and texture. So this designer paper piece is going to be 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. Now I am going to share the measurements as I craft tonight, but I'm not going to publish the list in the comments. It's all in the PDF. So if you would like to have the photos and the, the supply list and the directions and everything, then you can grab the PDF or grab a notebook and just jot some notes down. This card class is free to watch, and you're welcome to write down the measurements if you'd like. Okay, for the real red stripe piece, this is going to be 1 3/4 inches by 4 1/4 to go across the cardstock. So I'm going to put the stripes horizontally and cut down so that the piece that is going to go across the card, the stripes are going to be vertical. So I'm going to cut it 4 1/4. So I've got my 2 pieces of designer paper, and these pieces I'm going to set aside. I can't remember if I use the other sides on the other cards, but you'll definitely have some leftover designer paper to use on other projects. Okay, I'm going to set that aside because now we're going to do some stamping. The card base on this card is shaded spruce. So I've got the shaded spruce card base in there, which is 5.5 by 8.5. A piece of basic white cardstock for the inside. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then the Sahara sand is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. This is going to go in the front. And then we've got a piece for stamping the stocking. This is 2 by 2 3/4, but pretty much like a scrap. Same thing with this one. This is going to be to die cut the red bow, and this is like 1.5 by 1.5 to die cut that bow. You also are going to need a little bit of that white scrap to die cut the other bow and the stocking. So let's start with the stamping. I gotta get my ink pads. Let's see. We need to make these cards the same way that I did. You're going to need cherry cobbler, soft succulent, and evening evergreen. These two are 2 in colors that are brand new, and then cherry cobbler is in the regals. So I took the colors for these cards straight from the designer paper. I think I also used Sahara sand. So I'm going to grab that one so I have it ready as well. Okay, I've got my stamps mounted on my blocks. I have a lot of blocks, so I mounted every single stamp from this set except one. There's only one I didn't use, and that's the 2 from down there. It makes sense if you're making tags, but not as much sense on a card. All right, this is going to be hard to watch the comments, but I'm gonna do my best. Dorothy says she just got the paper in the mail. It is gorgeous. I love it. And Carrie, you're on the road and we'll be passing through Illinois in a bit, headed home to Indiana. Well, definitely where I am in Champaign, Illinois is like right at the crossroads of like 3 different highways. Like literally my subdivision is like in the armpit of several of these highways. So if you're traveling on 72 or 74, then you're gonna literally be able to wave. Hi. 57 also is the one that runs north-south. All right, so we are going to stamp the first sentiment in cherry cobbler. And this says, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Oh my gosh. I love Christmas, and I know it seems silly to be making Christmas cards in July, but I was kind of going for like a Christmas in July, and I used to love celebrating Christmas in July when I was like younger in middle school and in high school. Like I would get out my little Christmas tree in July and I would decorate it, and I would do little gifts for my family for Christmas in July. So how about you? Do you guys celebrate Christmas in July? Is there anything that you do in particular to maybe you just start your Christmas cards in July? I don't know. How early do you start Christmas cards? I know some of you really make a lot of Christmas cards, so you probably have to start in July if you're going to be done in time. I'm stamping in Evening Evergreen. This one is on the soft succulent cardstock, and then I'm going to do the solid one, the big bold one, in the same color, Evening Evergreen, on the basic white cardstock. Amanda says this is the earliest that she has made Christmas cards, thanks to me. You know what? I honestly don't usually start very early. In fact, I kind of start late. And when it comes to personal, like family Christmas cards, like sometimes I don't even send them until after Christmas. Like I shoot for New Year's, and sometimes I just do Christmas cards that have that sentiment on it, like Happy New Year. All right, while we're stamping, before we do the die cutting, I'm gonna just do the stamps for the inside. So I've got the sentiment, may your days be merry and bright, and I'm just gonna also stamp that same little stocking there. So that was an Evening Evergreen, and then Cherry Cobbler. And hopefully, I think when I designed the cards, I tried to use the same stamps, like in the same colors, because I forgot to wet my chamois. So if I have to use one of these stamps in a different color, I might have to lick them. One thing I did on this card, and I don't know how you can see, I'm going to hold it up and close and see if you can tell. I used a little Wink of Stella to color the leaves, and a little bit on that bow underneath, well, and on top. So let's get the Wink of Stella out. Wink of Stella is a glitter, like a glitter paint pen. I have a scrap paper here. I just want to make sure I'm getting a good, giving it a squeeze. Sometimes it comes out globby, so I don't want it to be globby on my, oh my God, do you hear that? Oh, there's not really anything left in here. Oh no. I need to add that to my shopping list and get some more Wink of Stella. I'm not even sure that it's wet enough to paint. Well, bummer. Hopefully your Wink of Stella is in better shape. Oh, you know what? That's my old one. I've got two more. I thought that was crazy because I swear I just used it. Let's try again here. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. So I'm going to color in the leaves. I don't know how well it shows up on camera, but it just sort of adds some shimmer and sparkle, almost a gold shimmer and sparkle. So it's kind of subtle, but it is just really pretty. There's always room for Wink of Stella. Can you see that sparkle in there? Hello, everybody. I don't think I asked, but leave a comment and tell me where you're from. I just told you I'm from Champaign, Illinois, and I see that Nancy said she's from Kansas. So leave a comment, tell me where you're from. I wonder how many different states we have watching tonight. It is 7 o'clock Central Time here. That's what time zone I'm in, but I know some of you, it's a little bit later. If you're on the East Coast, it is, you're an hour ahead, so it's 8. And if you're on the West Coast, then it might be 6 or 7 where you are. I guess one of those would be the middle of the country. Anyway, I think all of our images in this die set, what is this? The Christmas Trimmings die. I believe that all of these images will fit into our little mini Stampin' Cut emboss machine. And so that's what I'm going to use tonight because it fits a little nicer on the desk. Her name is Lucy. and she is my little baby. I love my little mini Stampin' Cut. Stampin', this is why I call her Lucy, because the other name is so long. Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. Mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine. I've shared this story before about why I call her Lucy. Lucy was the name that I almost gave to 2 of my daughters. And so if I ever had a 3rd daughter, well, if I ever had a 4th daughter, I do have 3 daughters. If I ever had a 4th one, then she would have been Lucy. But I do have 4 kids. My son is the oldest, and then I have 3 girls after that. Okay. So easy. Now, if you don't have the coordinating dies or the Stampin' Cut and Emboss Machine, you could always hand cut these images, but I love that it makes it so easy to use these little dies and die cut the images with just a little crank. All right. Oh, good. I'm seeing your comments come through about where you guys are from. Georgia and Maine. Oh, Tina named her car Lucy. That's awesome. I always said that, like, I would save the name if we had like a dog, and I would name her Lucy, but we got 2 dogs and we just stuck with the names that the previous owner was using. So they're Gracie and Bella. No Lucys for our dogs either. Okay. Oh, Carmen's in Iowa and Candy is in Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, I just skipped a whole bunch of comments here. California, Florida, Wisconsin, Central Pennsylvania, Washington State. Oh, Smirty says it's morning here. Across the world. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. What is it like? What's tomorrow? Saturday. I hope it's a wonderful Saturday morning for you. I always think that's so funny to think that other people around the world, it's like already the next day for them. Okay, we've die cut our pieces. I think I forgot to color the smaller bow with Wink of Stella, so I'm just going to go back in. Now, the Wink of Stella will blend and bleed the color of these classic ink pads a little bit. So if you don't like that look, then you want to be careful about using the Wink of Stella. I don't mind having the blended color, and I think sometimes you want that kind of look, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, let's bring our pieces back in here and let's start assembling our card. I'm using the Stampin' Seal, which is our double-sided tape runner, to assemble most of the cardstock pieces. So this is going to go on the inside, and then on the front, we're going to start with the designer paper layer right in the center. And then the striped layer. I have to say, this is the last of the 5 cards that I designed, and I wasn't exactly happy with it, but I just finished it and said it was done. Sometimes there's designs that I don't love, and then someone else will be like, oh my gosh, that one's my favorite. So I try not to exclude things just because I don't necessarily like it. I love that it's clean and simple, and I love the designer paper layers. I think it's the Sahara Sand that I'm struggling with a little bit, but I didn't want to do white cardstock on the white designer paper background, so maybe if I used a different designer paper instead of the white one, then I could use white there. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me what you think of the cardstock layers here. I'm going to put the first stocking down with the seal adhesive, and then the second one I'm going to add with dimensionals. Oh my gosh, this card is coming together really quickly now that I got all the pieces cut out. One thing I added, if you added on both the stamp set and the dies, then I added an extra bonus to your package. There's 3 people I owe some of these to, so if you didn't get any of your package, I know, and I promise I'm mailing it. I had to order more because I ran out. So the thing that I added on was the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels. So this was the free gift for those who added on both the dies and the stamp set to their card kit. And so this is just a little something if you want to embellish your cards a little bit more. I thought these colors in the holiday set worked really well with the Christmas, Tidings of Christmas designer paper. So I've layered these with glue dots, and I kind of offset it so that it looks like a little, kind of a little shadow of the ribbon. And then we're going to use some of these. Now, if you don't have these, you can use other rhinestones if you don't have the holiday ones. And if you want to color them, you can use Stampin' Blends to color rhinestones and make them. Maybe I'll just put one right there. I love that. That's perfect. Done. In fact, I'm going to put one on my other sample. Done. Oh, love it. Okay, first card done. It's wonderful. It's the most wonderful time of year. And I see a comment from about changing the gray granite, or what would gray granite look like. So let me just pull it out and show you really quick. So this is Sahara sand, and this is gray granite. So I don't think that there's enough contrast with the gray granite between the gray granite and the soft succulent. I think it's too dark for this card. So I actually use Sahara sand a lot as a neutral. I used to use crumb cake, and I find myself using Sahara sand because Sahara sand is lighter, and so again there's more contrast between lighter colors like that soft succulent. So I don't know, you'd have to play around and see. Maybe instead you could do like soft succulent here, and then instead of doing a die cut you could just stamp the stocking on top of the other one, or you could stamp the stocking in Sahara sand and die cut it and do it on soft succulent. So you can play around when you create this card at home. But there's our first card. That's going to be all finished. I'm going to go ahead and I'm flipping my tutorial to the second card, and that one, this is a fun one. We're going to use, if you've got the kit at home, it's the one with the soft succulent card base. Oh, you know what I forgot? The wonderful thing about having our kits packaged in envelopes is that we can stamp the envelope to match. So if you're not using the designer paper, and you might have to wait on this, if you're not using it on another card, you could use it and glue it down on your envelope flap. And then let me look really quick and see if I need this paper for any other card. I don't think that I do. Oh, I do need it for another card. Okay, I won't be able to do it here, but if you had an extra piece of a different one, you could glue it to the back of your envelope flap and then trim and have a decorative envelope flap. For this one, I'm just going to stamp a stocking. We'll just do a stocking in the corner to coordinate with our card. Okay, so that was card number one. I'm going to set that aside up here. Card number two is this one. I love this pattern. This is a really easy layout that's super easy to duplicate if you want to show off lots of different patterns. And so I've got several different patterns from the designer paper, and the designer paper size is 1 inch by 3 inches, which is a really great size for the 6x6 paper because you can easily cut them evenly from the paper. Oh, Nicole's saying that she wish she could have gotten a card kit. I'm so sorry that you missed out. I encourage you to join that Stamp of the Month, or the Stamp of the Month card class mailing list so that you can find out about these kits and be the first to know, and then you won't miss out and you won't be sad next month and you'll be able to join us. Okay. I'm looking at the pattern paper and I'm choosing the stripe paper and this one with the big leaves and holly, and the flip side are the sides that I used for the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and cut with the paper trimmer. For the designer paper, sometimes I go ahead and I just cut 2 at a time because they're thinner than regular cardstock. So I'm measuring here to the 1 inch mark and I'm cutting down. And now I've got a 1x6 piece, and I will put it in the other direction and cut it at 3 inches. And this will be the 4 1 inch by 3 inch pieces that I need. Okay, that's it for that part. So I'm going to set that designer paper aside. Let's go ahead and glue these pieces onto the Evening Evergreen cardstock. Now this piece is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So if you're making this card, then you can do this with any designer paper. I love this layout. Any designer paper for any theme. It works really well. It also works well as a vertical card. Oops. So you could have it be this way, and then you could just obviously reverse your element. So whether it's vertical or whether it's horizontal, this is an awesome layout to showcase your designer paper. So I'm starting with the first piece, and I'm going with an even amount of space around the top and the bottom and the side. And then I'm going to do the other end. And then I'm just going to try to center the last 2 pieces between those 2. So we'll do with these pieces, I might not put them all the way down. Oh, these are not even. 2 of these are longer than the other 2. That's what I get for not measuring and just cutting. Sometimes the designer paper is a little bit bigger than, it's a little bit bigger than the 3 or the 6 inches. And so like this one was just a smidgy bigger. So I'm going to cut that down so they're the same size. And the other one that was too big is this red one. So if you're making at home, just make sure to like cut both of them instead of making assumptions about the paper being the right size. Because it's important for this card that the panels are all the same size, because otherwise it's going to look funky when you have, you know, pieces that are longer or shorter in the middle. Okay, come back up with this one. Oh my goodness. My children are being so loud. Can you hear them on camera? Hi, Margaret. It's okay that you're late. We're working on our second card, and I'm not sure if anybody's actually stamping with me tonight. I think everyone's just watching, and they're going to make their cards later. Bonnie says, no naked envelopes. That's right. Whether you're stamping or adding some designer paper, you definitely want to have your envelope match and coordinate with your card. Okay, I think actually maybe that paper was shorter than 6 by 6 because my little pieces I think might be a little shorter than 3 inches. This is going to go in the center, and it looks like I need to cut one more little piece. I forgot about this little piece of designer paper. So this darker one, the Evening Evergreen, this is just a 1/2 inch by 3 inches. So let's bring our paper out and figure out this pattern is the one. So I'm going to cut this at 3 inches because I need to use this on another card as well. And I need a 3 inch piece. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to cut it. What did I say? 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch by 3. So just a little touch of color there. And I'm going to use my scissors to cut an angle. Now we're going to layer. This is a 2-inch circle. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that I did use my 2-inch circle punch, even though it's retired. So if officially you are remaking these cards and you don't have the circle punch, I would tell you that you can get the layering circles. And there are tons of sizes in the layering circles. So if you don't have any circle punches, the layering circles are a really good way to get a lot of different size circles. It's like definitely a better value for circles. Okay, so the 2-inch circle here, and then this piece is for the stamped sentiment, and this Sahara Sand cardstock is 3/4 inches by 2, and then the green and the red are both scraps for die cutting the holly, and then we'll use some of our white cardstock from this scrap piece. Somewhere I have the piece that I cut. Here we go. We'll use this for stamping the star. So let's do our stamping. We also have some stamping to do on the inside of the card. For this card, I used the 2 stars and I stamped wishing you a joyful Christmas and a happy new year. So let's stamp that on the inside. So when this is closed, this will be the inside here. And I stamped the sentiment with Evening Evergreen right in the center, and the stars in Soft Succulent. This stamp set has both a solid star and an open star, and even though they're separate stamps, I put them on the same block so that I can stamp them together. Just makes it easier that way. If you want to add a 3rd star, you could take one off and stamp it again, but I'm going to leave it like that. And then our outside sentiment is Noel, and that's going to be an Evening Evergreen ink on the Sahara Sand cardstock. Oh, Amanda, you are stamping, but you're keeping up. Good. I'm trying not to go too fast, but I also don't want to like go too slow and people are just, you know, like, okay, Julie, let's go. If you are stamping along and I am going too fast, then you can, you know, do some of your gluing down later and just, you know, kind of assemble what you can while we're live. There is a die cut for this. If you don't have the dies, you can hand cut. So I'm going to use the die for the star, and then this die is 1, but it die cuts two different holly leaves, and then the berries. This is also 1 die, but it die cuts 6 different little berries. So we're gonna die cut all of those pieces, and you know what, really quick, I'm gonna stamp my envelope. Cherry cobbler star. All right, let's get Lucy out and do our die cutting. It's okay that you're late, Lynn. We are working on card number 2. We've got 5 cards total tonight, so you still have lots more to see, I promise. And you can always watch the replay to see what you've missed. So if you can't tune in live to these classes, they are saved and you can come back and watch it again. Or if you just want to watch again and make these cards at home and follow along, then the video is here for you as well. Okay, that scrap was way too big. I guess I didn't need such a big piece for the cherry cobbler. These little guys are going to be so small. All right, so far I've been doing okay, but one little tip, if you do have pieces that want to jump around, is to use a Post-it note to hold your dies in place, or washi tape works really well too. Something with a temporary adhesive. Okay. Oh my gosh, look how tiny these are. They're so little. I'm gonna lose them, I know. All right, and these die cut separately, like I said. And then we've got our star. So let's get rid of our trash. And let's put these together. So for this, I'm going to use the glue dots. And these glue dots now come on the inside. It's so weird. I'm going to put the glue dot down, or the die cut down on the glue dot, and then I'm going to lift it up. How did I get that? So push down onto the glue dot and then peel the whole thing up. And I want it to be really at the top of the star. So I'm keeping the glue dot really close to the end of the holly and maybe even overlap a little. There we go. Okay, now is the tricky part. These tiny, tiny little things. There are different ways that you can put it on. You can do a little glue. This might be the easiest. So one thing I did, I actually put these on a glue dot and that worked too, but I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna put a little dot of glue. This is liquid adhesive here at the end of the holly. And then I'm gonna use the Take Your Pick tool, which has a putty end. Let me just crank that and get a new piece out. I was using this earlier and kind of got gunked up. Okay, so now it's probably gonna be too much. Oh, okay, so a little bit of putty there. It's sticky, so I can pick up the tiny pieces and I can put them down where I want them to go. The tricky part is getting it to release from the putty. So sometimes, oh, that just fell off. That was kind of convenient. Sometimes using like the tip of the scissors to help push it off the putty works. And I think we need just another dot of glue for the third one. So I'm using the tip of the scissors just to kind of hold it down so that the putty can release itself. Okay, that is gonna take just a little bit to dry. Where's our card? Let's see here. Okay, so bringing it back into our card. We're almost done with this one. This kind of went together fast. We're going to glue down Noel over the banner. And then the star is going to go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. I love this. And if you want, you could use the stocking. You could use anything to embellish the circle. I'm looking for the Stampin' Dimensionals. I had a whole sheet out. This always happens to me. My Stampin' Dimensionals always get buried under other things. I'll just grab another sheet. Okay. Trying to be careful of that glue that's still wet and not touch it. One thing that I am being careful of to strategically place the point of the star to kind of, like I either want to cover this all or not. And so I'm gonna angle this so like I don't want it to be like that. So I'm gonna cover the whole side of it. Like that, perfect. Okay, there's our second card with our coordinating envelope, Noel. This layout is so easy and so good for any designer paper. So whether you're using the tags or the Tidings of Christmas and doing your Christmas card, or using the hand penned or the Sweet Symmetry or the Peaches, this is such a great card to duplicate that way. So let me give you the measurements one more time because I'm not going to write them in the description. The designer paper pieces are 1 inch by 3, and you want 4 of those. And then the background piece is, I'm using Evening Evergreen, but that piece is going to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. All right, are you ready for card number 3? Yes, let's keep going. Our next card is going to be, oh my gosh, okay, I love this one, but it's going to be intense. I was inspired by a card, I think it's in the catalog. Let me grab the catalog out and take a look. It was either the catalog or it was a card that Stampin' Up! Posted on their Facebook page where they used the different elements in the stamp set to create a wreath. So like all of these little foliage pieces. And I loved that idea. And so that is what I did on this card. Let's take a second here to look at the catalog. So Tidings of Christmas is on page 88 and 89 of the annual catalog. So it must have been a sample that I saw on their on the Stampin' Up! Facebook page where they did a wreath. So I was inspired by that, and we're going to dig in and make a wreath with all these little pieces. So the secret is that we're going to do four of each of the different pieces. So let's get out some of our cardstock and we're going to stamp. So the first one we're going to do is the little berry branch. And I'm going to stamp 4 of those. And the next one, well, the next 2 are these little leaves, and there's 2 different kinds. One has 3 and one has 2 leaves. And you're going to do 4 of each kind. One, two, three, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking I might want to get the big mama out for this one. Okay, so we've got our leaves, and I'm going to add a little bit of color in the leaves, and we're going to do that with a soft succulent ink pad. So let's get that out. Now on the one with 2 leaves, I'm going to stamp the soft succulent. This is like a 2-step. I'm going to just stamp it straight up, just this one, you know, the darker soft succulent color. But for the other one with 3 leaves, I'm going to stamp off and then stamp so that it's a lighter shade and not as dark. So this way we're getting different shades with one ink pad. We're getting 2 different looks. We've got the dark leaves and then the light leaves. Okay, so we've got those. Oh, I just put my finger in that. We've got all of those stamped. Let's cut around our scrap that we don't need. And the other thing, oh, we didn't even get our packet out. Here I am just jumping right into the stamping. This packet is going to be the one with the red card base. So that is the cherry cobbler. And then the other pieces for this card, we have the basic white. This is for the inside. It is 4 inches by 5 1/4. So it's going to go inside. And then we have a large or a medium square. This is 3. Did I leave this up? No, there it is. I was like, I couldn't find it on the list. 3.5 by 3.5. And then we have a evening evergreen, and this one is just for die cutting the leaves. So this is a scrap. And if you want to cut it, I just did a 2x4 piece. So it's just going to be for die cutting 4 of those. Then I've got a bit of that evening evergreen weave ribbon. And so this is just like 4 or 5 inches. No, actually this piece is 3 or 4 inches. Okay, so what else is in here? Oh yes, the punched label. This is the Label Me Fancy punch. And a red piece to stamp and die cut the bow. So we will do that. And then we need to cut some designer paper for this card. So for this card, we are going to use, let's get our designer paper scraps out. We're going to use this piece, the Sahara sand that has the snowflakes. So we're going to use this one, and then we also need that evening evergreen weave, which kind of matches the ribbon. I sort of like that. So this is the piece we cut. So we cut this one in half at 3 inches, and we used a little piece on the last card. So I'm using that one that I've cut that little piece from. And so this is 5.5 inches, and I just need to cut it down to, what do we need to cut it to? 1.5. So let's do that first. 1.5 by 5.5. So I've got 2 pieces. I can save that one for another card. And then this one, we're going to cut to 3.25 inches. And that's a square. So 3.25 by 3.25. Okay, and then these will save for another card. Okay, as you can guess, the 3 1/4 is going to go on the 3 1/2. This is going to go across the cardstock. We're going to do our wreath, and then we're going to have our sentiment and the bow and all the die cut stuff. So let's set this aside. Let's stamp the bow and the sentiment, and let's take a look really quick actually on the inside. I need a cupboard designer paper. So we're doing a little bit of stamping, and then we do have some layers of designer paper on the inside. The smaller one is 1 1/2 or 1/2 inch, and the bottom one is 3/4 inch, 3/4 of an inch. So let's get that back out really quick. And we're gonna cut the stripe at 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. Okay, 3/4 by 5 1/4. And the other one, this one was what we had left from cutting for the front. We're going to cut that at 1/2 inch. So that's going to be for the inside. And let's do our stamping. Cherry Cobbler. Let's start with that first. So the front sentiment says, "Cheers from our home to yours." That's a little crooked. Let's try again. Hi, Carrie. Oh, I'm so glad that you joined us. If you missed some stuff, that's okay. You can go back and watch the replay. We're on card number 3 so far. Oh, and Cindy just got home from work too. I'm sorry. It's been such a long day, Cindy. Friday nights, sometimes it's like glorious, right? Oh, the weekend. And other times I feel like I just feel plain exhausted from a long week. Is that kind of how it's been for you guys? Are you so excited that it is Friday night, or are you feeling exhausted from a long week? It's the most wonderful time of the year on the inside, and then I did those leaves. So I've got one there and the other one on the other side. It almost looks like they were just made to go there, doesn't it? Really like round out the sentiment. Okay, we need to die cut some images, but while we have it, let's just go ahead and add the designer paper to this inside, and then we can put this in the card and get it put together and out of the way. Oops, I guess I didn't measure that one. Oh, I might have cut that at 5 1/2, and it should be 5 1/4 for the inside. Oh, exhausted but hot and humid in Kansas. We had like a storm front roll through, and so it wasn't as hot and crazy as it has been the last week. So I sort of enjoyed a little cooler. It's still hot and humid though. So this is gonna go on the white square, and we're gonna build our wreath before we put that on the card. So I'm just getting those pieces out of the way. Let's put this one inside. Oh my gosh, Cindy, you worked an 11-hour day. That sounds exhausting. Is that normal? Do you always work such a long shift? I didn't realize that you did. Oh, 11 hours is too much. Let's do our die cutting now. So we're going to use the dies from the Christmas Tidings die set to die cut all of our leaves, and also some of the detailed leaves. So the detailed leaves, this die is going to be in the green, and then we're going to do, there's a die for the 2 leaves, a die for the 3 leaves, and a die for the berry branch. So we've got a little bit of die cutting to do. Let's grab out, I am gonna grab the big machine because, oh, and we need the bow. Let's forget about the bow. I think it's going to be easier to send all these things through at the same time. If you were just on your own, you could die cut them strategically with the smaller one, but I think it's going to be easier. So let me grab that off the floor, and let's do these die cuts. So my little one is called Lucy, and this is Big Mama. The camera is so close, it looks even more giant. I'm gonna just stand up for this die cutting part. So this might be one where if you have a Post-it note, you might want to use it to hold the dies down so that they don't shift. We'll see how we do with the first run. Get the bow in there. It's kind of hard to see the red ink on the red cardstock. So if you prefer, you could use a darker color like black, and then your bow would stick out a little more. In fact, oh gosh, I think I'm gonna do that. Then I have to clean my stamp. I'm just gonna leave it red for now. Yep, I want Post-its. I just want to make sure that this is gonna stay down. In fact, you know what I just got? I just got these full stick Post-its that like the whole thing is sticky, not just the top, but the entire sheet. I don't even know how you get that off. There you go. Just the bottom, I guess, is not. So that whole thing is sticky. So I'm just gonna cut little strips. To hold our dies in place. No shifting. In a catalog, there is a magnetic plate. However, there were some quality issues and it was curling and wasn't staying straight. So they had to discontinue it. They are, oh, that's still shifted, that little booker. They're still working on it. They haven't said if and when they're gonna be able to release a new version of it. So for now, if you don't have the old magnetic platform for the Big Shot, then using Post-its or washi tape or something like that is going to be your best option. This card is a little tedious with all of the die cutting. And it's honestly something I usually don't get so tedious with my projects, but this one it's worth it. It's going to be so cool to make the wreath. Oh my goodness. I'm really wishing I had die cut some of these ahead of time, but then you guys would be like, oh, you're going too fast. I could have just said, okay, if you're watching the replay, pause and do all your die cutting. Okay, next time I will remember that, because this definitely, you don't need to watch me do it all. Oh my gosh. Beverly, I'm so glad you received the card kit. I know there were a few people who ordered kind of late, and their kit is still on the way, but I think most everyone who ordered a kit got it in time for the class, so I'm so happy. Beverly, are you stamping live tonight, or are you just watching and going to catch the replay? So far, I think Amanda's the only one who's stamping with me, although if you're stamping with me, it's possible you don't have time to leave a comment, so there may be others. It's so quiet. I wish I could put on some Christmas music, but I got dinged. I got dinged once with a copyright violation for some Christmas music. And it was funny because it wasn't like, it was actually a band concert. My kids were playing some Christmas music, and I just recorded the concert that we did at home, and I posted it for our family members to watch, our long distance family members. And one of the songs that they played, there was a copyright violation, and I think they let us keep it up, but they put ads on that video. I don't know. I kept it unlisted, so it only had like 24 views or something. I never got a notice that I needed to take it down, so hopefully I didn't need to. Okay, last round of die cutting. Ah! I guess that's done. Done being sticky. Let's try another piece. Monique, hi from Australia. It's Saturday morning. Craft time. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad you're crafting with us today, Monique. We are on card 3 of the Tidings and Trimmings card kit. And I think we just finished all the die cutting. So this card is the wreath, which is really fun. I do really like the way this turned out, even though it was a lot of work. So let's take inventory of all of our die cut pieces. My pups are saying hi. And also we don't want to lose our die cuts. Okay. So for this wreath, I am using 4 of each kind of shape. So we've got 4 detailed die cut leaves. We have 4 of the 2 leaves. We've got 4 of the 3 leaves and 4 of the berry branches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have all of our pieces. Very good. Get the dies out of the way. This card is going to be assembled using glue dots. So I'm going to go ahead and put each of the pieces on a glue dot, and keeping the glue dot towards the end and trying to put it on a piece that will completely conceal and cover up the glue dot. This is an easy way to put this wreath together, is to use the glue dots. I use glue dots a lot for little pieces like this. Just find it easier to handle and pick up and place them. I'm not a big fan of these glue dots being on the inside of the paper, but for something like this, it does work really well, because then I can just tear off the whole strip and put the roll aside without leaving glue dots exposed, which is really the benefit of having the glue dots this way, is that you can tear it and you don't have them on the outside. So they're not going to stick to the box. They're not going to stick to other projects. Okay, here is our strip ready to go, ready to assemble. So let's get out the card again. And we're doing this on the designer paper. If you missed, if you're just joining us, the Sahara Sand cardstock is, or designer paper is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and the basic white is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And so that's the size that we are building on. Here is the card again. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of build a circle around the edge of the designer paper. And what I did was I just alternated between all of the elements. So it doesn't really matter what you start with. I'm going to start, this is coming right off the glue dot. Push down on the glue dot and then lift up on the entire thing. That's the easiest way to get that. So I'm going to start over here on the right side because I like how the green is poking out from the tag, and that's about where I want the tag to go. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm just going to build. So I'm going to do then the 3 leaves and the 2 leaves, And with each one that I'm placing, I'm just sort of building and arcing into a circle. And then we're back to the dark green. Oh my goodness, yes, random threads. This is the only way that I use glue dots. I put the element on the glue dot first and then remove the whole thing. So whether I'm doing a bow or, you know, loose gems, I always put it on the glue dot first. And then, like I said, sometimes giving it like a little push to like make sure it's in the glue dot, and then you can pull the whole thing up. All right, still going around, trying to keep it like in a circle, and just tucking the stem under the previous element. Kind of hides where the glue dot was. Starting to wonder if I'm going to run out of space. I've made this card twice, and each time I only needed 4 of each. So hopefully that will be the case again today. Oh yeah, I think we're going to be fine. Isn't that cool? I really love the way it worked out. Oh, that tore right off. Let's just push it back down on the glue dot, and then with this one, because the glue dot is on such a small place of the die cut, it's easy to tear, but look at this. We're just going to put it right underneath that berry branch, and so you don't even see the tear. Like, it's totally fine. Okay, we're getting to the end here. And this berry branch is going to end up being covered up a lot by the tag. You know what? This one didn't stamp very well. See how that one didn't, well, it didn't stamp or die cut very well. I'm just going to leave that one out because I don't think that I need it. And I'm going to end with the berry branch. So I've kind of left a little bit of a, like there's a little bit of an opening here, but that's where the tag is going to go. So I'm not worried that it's not kind of complete here. You can fuss with these if you know, if you didn't get a good circle. I feel like I did. I could have brought it in a little bit, but I'm pretty happy with the way that came together. So let's go ahead and put it on our card. We've got the designer paper strip, and again, if you're joining late, this was 1.5 inches by 5.5, and this is going across the bottom center of the card. So not quite center, the bottom part of the center, straight across. And all these cards are using the Christmas Tidings, or Tidings of Christmas, whatever that designer paper is called. I keep forgetting. Then regular adhesive on the back here, because the tag is going to go on with dimensionals. Okay. Oh, I love it. We have a little bit of ribbon. This is the Evening Evergreen weave ribbon, and I love using tear and tape to adhere ribbon like on the back. Like, this is a really good way to just hold the ribbon down. So let me find my tear and tape and grab a little bit of this. I'm actually not even going to use like the double side stickiness of this. I am just going to use it just to hold down the tape, like, so just to go across it like that, and then I'm going to leave that. Like, I'm not even going to pick that up, and then we're going to put it down on the card. I want to put this with Stampin' Dimensionals. The ribbon does make it a little tricky, and the ribbon is already bulky, so I don't feel like you need to add a dimensional here. You could. I feel like it just adds, like, this dimensional already sort of fits that bulk. So I'm going to put instead, I'm going to put some glue here And I think maybe the easiest thing is just a little liquid glue. So that is gonna hold that down in place. And then our bow, I had a glue dot on that already, is gonna come over here, like on the side. Let's trash that. This ribbon frays really easily. So when I am all done with the card is when I'm gonna trim it. This is a little bit long, so I'm just gonna cut it a little shorter and just cut the ends there. All right, there is our finished wreath card. What do you think? Is this a card that you would duplicate at home? My original one here, I felt like was a little tighter, and so you can see a little more of the designer paper, but whoever gets this card is not gonna know how much room there was supposed to be. Oh good, I'm so glad you guys like this card. Monique says she wants to give this card a go. Yes, hi Faylene, I'm so glad you're joining us. This is the third card in our series. We've got 2 more to go. Oh no, we didn't stamp our envelope to match. What should we put on this one? Let's just do the bow in the corner. There we go. When you're all done, if you have extra designer paper, like I said, you can use a little designer paper on the envelope flap. You know, glue it down and then cut it. So we'll see when we're done what we have left over, the leftover pieces. Okay, oh, you know what? I keep forgetting about these holiday rhinestones. So, oh, you know what would be really pretty if we added some like around the wreath. What do you think? That liquid glue is not holding that ribbon down. What color, though, do you think we should put around the wreath? Should we use the green or the red ones to just sort of place around the wreath? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Green or red? I suppose yellow would work as well, but there's not any other yellow on the card, so I'm not sure. Cynthia says definitely the green. It's not quite the same green color. I think like placing them, I don't know about placing them on, but I think just sort of going on either side. Cynthia says green, but everybody else, I see Tina and Denise and Cindy, Random Thread and Bonnie, you guys all say red. You know what? Maybe some of each, right? Green and red. I lost the glue dot on that one. I'm not sure that I like what I'm doing here. I was trying to place it like close to the wreath, but it's it's not working out the way I wanted to. I guess I'll have to do it inside the wreath. Oh, these little glue dots are coming right off the rhinestones. Another green. Maria says green, but Joe says red. Do you like them kind of all over, or do you think they need to be inside the wreath a little more? Oh my goodness. I just need to use that take your pick tool. one there on the white part where you punched out. One on the white part. I think I'm going to do 3 clusters of 3. And since most of you said red, I'm going with red. Okay, what do you think of that? Is that some good bling for our wreath card? Yeah, Bonnie, you read my mind. I just put one on the bow, but I don't know, maybe I'll keep it on there. I thought maybe it was random, but I think it works okay. Oh, with the sentiment, Cynthia, that's what you meant. Oh, gold on the bow. Let's try that one really quick. I love it. I love it when you guys are watching live and you can leave me comments and I can try out what you're thinking. I don't know about the gold one though, because it kind of looks orange on the bow. I'm not sure I like the one on the bow. Okay, when you are making your card at home, you can put your rhinestones wherever you like them. All right, that was card number 3. Let's keep moving and see which card is next. Oh, these last 2 are my favorite of all of the cards. Okay, here's the next one. It's going to be the one with the Sahara Sand card base. And I shared this one on Facebook a week or 2 ago because I made different variations with this one. And you could do this at home if you want. This is a really great layout for different variations. I used some different designer paper from the same paper pack. So the top piece of designer paper is 3 inches by 3 inches, and the bottom is 3 inches by 1.5. So you can mix and match and create this card with different papers and different looks. So you guys will have to let me know. I'm going to number these really quick. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys leave a comment and tell me which of the paper patterns do you prefer. Number 1 is how I designed it in the kit. So if you get the PDF, this is the one that's pictured, although I think I did also have another one pictured for you to see. But like I said, you can do whatever paper you want. If you've got this card kit, you can mix and match and you can cut any of the papers. Since you're cutting the paper yourself, you can cut whatever paper you want, and everything else is the same on the card. The only thing that's different is the designer paper. But isn't it interesting that just the designer paper can change the look of the card? You know, this one being very like white and light looks a lot different than the one that's dark, doesn't it? And then the red designer paper at the bottom, I think, kind of is a nice anchor as well for the circle. All right, I see Tina says 1, Denise says 2, Nina says 3, Nancy says 4. That's so funny. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cynthia says 1, Maria says 1, Joe likes number 3, Bonnie says 2, Denise number 1, Cindy likes 3. Faylene says between 1 and 4, but she's totally team green. Yes. Random threads, 1 with a second choice of 3. Lynn also likes 1 and 3 and can't decide. 2 and 3 because of the white background on the designer paper. Yep, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know. Lynn likes them all. Okay, well, I'm going to cut for this one because I do like the dark designer paper on top. I just think it's a nice contrast with the stripes on the bottom. But if you're making this card at home, you can use these same measurements and cut any of the papers from this paper pack. This is also a really great layout to do with other paper as well, especially paper that is 6 by 6. So like I said, we're going to be cutting the top piece is 3 by 3 and the bottom piece is 1.5 inches by 3. And so let's go ahead and start by cutting those with our paper trimmer. So this, I already cut that at 3 inches. So I'm going to put that back in and cut at 3 inches. So I've got 2 pieces. Now, if you're using a whole 6x6 paper and only making this card, you could get 4 cards from that sheet. Now, the second piece here is going to be 1.5 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to cut 1.5 and then by 3. So I could make 2 of this card. And I'm going to put the rest of that designer paper aside. Now let me show you the other measurements here. So for this card, the evening evergreen piece here is 3.25 by 4.5, which, let me just double check, because wasn't that the same measurement we used over here? It was. So on this card, we use the same piece, 3.25 by 4.5, and then these designer paper strips were 1 inch by 3 inch. For this one, we've got the 2 pieces that are 3 by 3 and 1.5. Let's go ahead and glue those down. And then we're going to do some stamping. That does overlap just a little bit. So you could do it either way. You can put the bottom piece on first and then overlap, or the top one on first and then overlap. I think the top one first and then overlap so that you have more of the bottom showing. I'm going to put this on right now, but we're not going to add the ribbon until later. And the best way to add this ribbon is with a piece of tear and tape right across the border where the paper meets. All right, we're going to set this aside so that we can do our stamping. The other pieces we have with the Sahara Sand card is a piece to stamp the stocking. So this is just a scrap of soft succulent. This is 2 inches by 2 3/4. I'm using a 2.25 inch circle, which again, I cheated with the circle punch, but you can cut the same circle with the layering circles. I've got a piece for the sentiment. Oops, I actually had an extra one in there. The little piece for the sentiment, this is so tiny. This piece is a 1/2 inch, so not 1.5, but a 1/2 inch by 1.5. So 1/2 inch here, 1.5 there. This is for the sentiment. And then this one is a scrap basically to do the bow. And this is a scrap to die cut the detailed leaf. So let's do our stamping and die cutting. This is a pretty easy card. Like, it's going to come together really fast. We're going to do the sentiment right in the center. Season's greetings. We're going to do the bow in red. Cherry cobbler, to be exact. And then that's going to get die cut. And then what's the inside look like? Ooh, wishing you a joyful Christmas and a happy new year. And then we do have a little bow in there too. So let's get those stamps out as well. Let's set that right here. Scoot this down. Evening evergreen. Wishing you a joyful Christmas and a happy new year. And the bow and cherry cobbler right there. Okay, setting that aside, we're going to use the evening evergreen again to stamp the stocking on soft succulent cardstock. And I didn't do it on this card, but we did this on another card. If you want to, you could do a little bit of Wink of Stella to color in the leaves. I think it just adds kind of a pretty detail to have those leaves be sparkly. In fact, I think it kind of helps it to look like embroidered, to have that added detail to the leaves. This reminds me of a really elegant stocking that my grandmother used to have with the embroidered leaves, and I'm sure it had like glittery thread. Nina, this designer paper is, keep saying the name wrong. It's the Tidings of Christmas. This is one of the papers that are on sale, 15% off through Monday, August 2nd. This is a 6x6 designer paper in the annual catalog, and it coordinates with the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set, which is what we're using for all of the cards that we're making tonight. So the dies are part of that bundle too, and the designer paper, like it's a whole suite. I think we looked it up. It was page 88 and 89, I think, in the catalog. All right, let's get Lucy out, and we're going to die cut. Lucy is my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and she does a fantastic job with our little projects like this, and I just love that she doesn't take up so much space on the desk like Big Mama. Big Mama takes up a lot of space. Oh, lining these up, and again, if you feel like you need it, you can use washi tape or a little piece of Post-it to hold the dies down on your cardstock. Oh, snap. Oh, I could tell. Let's see if I can put it back in. I thought I had it, and then it shifted. I hate shifting dies, don't you? This is a silly tip, but you can use, well, you can use your poker to poke through the holes and get this out. But sometimes for these detailed ones, I just drop it on the, no, it's not going to do it. I just drop it on the desk until it pops out. Especially when I'm doing a lot and I just don't want to like mess around with a poker. I just drop it until it pops. Okay, let's get our scraps put away. We've got the pieces here that we're going to assemble our card with. So this card does come together pretty quickly. And this is all going to go on the circle. So let's do the circle, and then we'll put the circle on the card. Using Stampin' Dimensionals underneath the stocking. And I'm going to put it on the right side, and then we're getting those glue dots back out to put on these little elements. This really is the easiest way to put on these smaller elements. So I'm going to put that right there. So this one first, and then you can, like that glue dot, right? Like you can see that, but that's okay because the bow is going to cover up that little spot. See, no problem. We're going to use one glue dot, or one Stampin' Dimensional rather, underneath the Season's Greetings, and then a little bit of regular adhesive or glue dot because it's going to overlap the stocking, which already is on dimensionals. So we don't need to have it be on double dimensionals. Right there, that's perfect. And then I did use Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of the circle as well. Okay, here's our card front. This is Sahara Sand. We already did the inside, so let's go ahead and add our layered cardstock and designer paper to the front. And take our tear and tape off for the ribbon. This is, I did cut it extra long because it frays so much. So I cut it like probably 5 inches. Really, you just need like 4 probably. And then I'm going to add the circle. The very, very, very last thing that I will do is to trim the ribbon because it does fray. So if I wasn't sending the card right away, I might even just leave the ribbon like this until I'm ready to send it. I have a little bit of cardstock hanging. I'm just going to trim that. Let's just go ahead and cut it. I like to cut my ribbon at an angle. And since everything else is down, I don't need to handle it anymore. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't fray on us. So there's that card. I love this layout. It's such a good layout for designer paper, whether you're using the Tidings of Christmas paper or really any designer paper. It's such an efficient way to use that paper up. Let's add a stamp on our card envelope. No naked envelopes. Just a little hint, just a little peek at what's inside. Okay, that was number 4. And our last card, I think this one is my favorite. I really love the way it turned out. We've got one more card kit. If you've got the card kit, one more envelope pack. This one is the Evening Evergreen that has long pieces of Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, as well as the twine. That's this last card. Okay, Lynn, you said that was her best tip of the night. I don't even remember what I said. What was the best tip of the night? Oh, Random Thread says for fraying ribbons, she usually glues the ends down to the back side of the top layer of the cardstock. The back side, oh yes, so I see what you're saying. So you would glue, like tuck them underneath there and glue them like that. I actually I like it hanging out. I just don't like that it frays. Someone was saying there's a product that they use to help with the fraying ribbon. I don't remember what it was called. I'm just gonna try not to touch it until I'm ready to send it. Okay. For this card, let me show you this card. I really love this layout. I think it's so pretty. In fact, this was the layout I challenged my team. So every other week I do a color challenge in Julie's Stamping Spot Share and Connect group on Facebook. And on the opposite weeks, I do a card layout challenge with my team. So this was the card layout challenge that I gave them with 2 pieces of designer paper that are 2 inches by 4 inches. And then the greeting or some kind of like element over here in the corner. So I'm loving the way this turned out. We've got an inside here with the stars, and we're gonna die cut these detailed dies that are part of the Christmas Tidings die set. So these are the dies we're going to use. There is a little die and a big die set. Let me just get those out while I'm here. And I'm going to put the other dies back so I don't lose them while I've got this out. I have this little pile going over here. I've been trying to keep them together, but the best way not to lose them is to put them back where they belong. Okay. Well, they may not stick, but at least they're in the envelope. Okay. So these are going to be on this. I'm going to share a tip with you in just a moment. But first, let's cut the designer paper. For this card, I'm using the Sahara Sand print with the leaves. And I used this one on the first card. And so it's actually not going the direction that I want it to, but I think it'll be okay. Then we need a little bit of the red stripes. So we're going to get that piece out. And the last one is the smaller pine branches with the holly and the pine cones. Do you see those little tiny pine cones? So that's going to be the other side. Now, if we wanted to, we could substitute a different one for here, but I don't think that we have enough scraps in a color that I want to use. So we're going to stick with the original one, even though it's going a different direction. Okay, so those 2 patterns are going to be 2 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to cut the 4 inches first. And then the 2 inches. And then the second piece, same size, 2 inches by 4 inches. And for the stripes, this is going to be, where's my cheat sheet? 3/4 of an inch by 2.5 inches. 3/4 by 2.5. Okay. The piece for the inside is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to stamp, while I've got that out, we're going to stamp some stars. While I've got that out, let's stamp the sentiment. The sentiment piece is white cardstock that is 1 1/4 inch by 2 inches. And for this card, I'm using the sentiment that says, "May your days be merry and bright." Beautiful. Oh, one more stamping thing. This is kind of fun. Let me hold it up a little closer so you can see. On the background of this card, I stamped some stars. So I just kind of stamped them randomly. Can you see that? I think you can see it in the light. So just some stars in the background in Evening Evergreen. So let's do that really quick too while we've got all the ink out. And that's going to be Evening Evergreen. I mounted my little stars on the same block. So I can stamp them at the same time. And so I'm just going to stamp kind of like all over. The middle of the card gets covered up a lot, so I'm not so much worried about making sure that is going to get covered, but just around the edges. Okay, let's glue this down while we're in here. Oh! Oh, I just had a finished card that fell onto a pile of inked stamps. Oh my gosh, but I think they're okay. Oh my gosh, Amanda, have you eaten your M&Ms? I have not yet. I should open that up and have a few. Oh, dropping the die was the best tip. I'm so glad you guys liked that one. Okay, Nancy's saying there's a product called Fray Check that works well to stop fraying ribbons. I will have to check that out because this ribbon especially frays a lot. Use both green and red. Okay. On the front, we're going to layer the designer paper. The one downside of eating M&Ms is that it's loud. I am doing angled pieces here. So I'm going to do the Sahara Sand one on the bottom, kind of angled, and then the other one on the top, kind of angled. Really love this layout. Simple way to use this designer paper. And then before we add the other pieces, we need to die cut our stars. So I'm going to set these aside and we're going to set them aside here. We're going to get out our cardstock and we're going to die cut a large star from the green and the small solid star from the dark green, so soft succulent and Evening Evergreen, and then the detailed die, so we're just reversing them like this. Now, these are going to be very detailed, and so I should have included this in the card kit, and I totally forgot until all of them were sent. The best way to die cut and adhere down detailed dies like this is to use these adhesive sheets. So this comes in a package. I'm going to use this one. The package comes with 12 sheets and they are 6 by 12 inches. And so they're exactly what they sound like. They're adhesive sheets. So they're sticky on both sides. And the idea is that you can put it down. Let me see. I'm going to try to use this piece for both of them. I don't necessarily need it under the solid one, but I just need it under where the large one is going to die cut. So you're going to peel it off and put it, it's very sticky, put it on the cardstock. And then you're going to die cut from the other side, so the back will already be sticky on the detailed die cut. It's going to be brilliant. So we've got that, and then we want to use a little bit for this one up here. And then we'll put that one over the top. So we're going to send these through the die cut machine. Let's get Lucy back out. Come on, Luce. You're on call. I think that all the dies in this die set will fit in Lucy. For the wreath card, we just had so many that I did get out the big machine, but they will all fit in this little machine. Now, if you don't have the adhesive sheets at home, you can use the liquid glue or fine tip glue to adhere detailed die cuts onto the cardstock or your project. Oh, I like that, Nina. Nina says another tip to stop ribbon from fraying is to put a piece of clear Scotch tape on the ends. I think I have some tape. Oh, I'm gonna try that. Let's get some more ribbon out and see how that works. That's a great tip. Okay, so we die cut. You can see the adhesive bits, and these are detailed, so we're gonna have to do a little poking. You can either use your paper needle from your take your pick tool, or if you have the die brush attachment, that works as well. This one's a little thicker. My throwing it against the desk trick might not work. And then this one, it's already die cut, so we just have to poke them out. That did not go all the way through. I wonder if we just peel. Oh, can we leave all those little pieces behind on the adhesive sheet? Wouldn't that be grand? Okay, because I used the adhesive sheet, like this whole part is sticky back here. Yay! It's so easy to die cut and stick it on. I just have to deal with all these little hanging Chad pieces. Okay, I think I got everything knocked out, so now we're going to stick it. We're going to stick it on the big die cut star. So easy. Oh my goodness. And look at that, it just stuck. Brilliant. Let's get rid of. Did you guys see this? My mom got me one of these little desk vacuums. It's called a Tihu. It has a little switch. Isn't that awesome? It's not getting those because they have adhesive on it. It is so handy, and it cleans up those dimensional backings too. It's so cool. It's battery powered, and then it has like a little compartment that you can empty all the little bits. You definitely need one of these little desk vacuums. It's also really great for like a laptop, like if you eat by your laptop or your keyboard, being able to clean the keyboard is really, really handy too. Okay, our last one here is the little one, and it's got the adhesive sheet on it too, so I just have to get that paper backing off. And again, if you don't have the adhesive sheets, just using like the liquid glue or the fine tip glue and strategically place small dots on the back of your detailed die cut. Okay, our stars are ready to go, and so we can just do the final assembly of our card. I need to wipe down this desk. I don't know where this adhesive came from. It's driving me crazy. Like, it's been in the middle of the desk the whole time. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but oh, I'm gonna grab that ribbon really quick. I'm gonna try this Scotch tape trick. T-hoo, my mom got this on Amazon. So if you go to Amazon, just look for desk vacuum and look for this, the T-hoo one. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I think we want to cut our tape so that it's the same width as the ribbon. Sorry if I wasn't on camera there. Okay. And then trim it. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What a great trick. I forgot who said it now. Nina. Nina. What an awesome tip. I love that. I think it's actually going to work to stop the fraying. So put a little piece of Scotch tape behind your ribbon and then cut it, and the Scotch tape is going to hold it from fraying. Oh, brilliant. I don't know if I might be able to put some on my ribbon and retrim it. Okay, hold on, here we go. Let's do our cleanup. All my bits of fraying ribbon out of the way. Let's get this card done. We are so close. Okay, so we've got our detailed die cuts and our sentiment all ready to go. These are going to go on with regular Stampin' Seal, and then the sentiment is going to go on with dimensionals. This has a little bit of adhesive sheet left on it, so I'm gonna put this one up top and this one down on the bottom, and the sentiment will be on the right side. Ooh, I like it. Kathy says she changed this card up a little bit. Same design, but she put red and green together for the stars. I really struggled when I was making this card balancing the colors all the right way, and I love the red stripes here. And so originally this card didn't have any red, and it was just all green, like the Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, but I added the red sentiment and the red designer paper, and then I switched it out so that this designer paper would have some red too. And I think it's a good balance, but I'm sure yours looks pretty. You'll have to share a picture, Kathy, of how yours turned out with the red and green stars. Okay, let's tie a bow. Oh, Julie, what the heck? There was a knot in it. I thought I could get it out, and I clearly did not. So let me just cut myself a new piece of twine. It's about 9 inches. For the twine. I like my twine bows to have long tails, long ends. And I put my twine bows on with glue dots. So we're going to get those back out, push down, and peel the whole thing up. Oh, love it. I keep forgetting about these rhinestones. Where did they go? Let's see. What can we put? I think we can put some rhinestones on this card too, right? Here they are. Red. Red rhinestones for sure. What do you think? All up top? Do we like them down here too? We always say odd numbers, so I've got 3 up top and 2 on the bottom. I kind of like that. Rhinestones or no rhinestones? Or maybe 5 was too many. What do you think? Oh, Dare to Dream Big. I'm so glad that you watched tonight. She says, thank you so much for sharing how to make these cards. I'm new to this craft. Oh my goodness. Well, I've been stamping for 19 years and I just can't get enough. I love making cards because they're quick, you know, like scrapbooking. I always said I would start when I had kids, but it's much more of a time commitment to do scrapbooking. So I love that card making is a much shorter, you know, it's easy and short to make a card, and then you feel satisfied that you've got something finished. And then you can send it on and give it to somebody else. I mean, you can give scrapbooks to other people too, but all right. Oh, good. I'm seeing your comments come through and you guys agree. 5 rhinestones is good. Oh, Cindy! She says, thanks for a relaxing evening. And after an 11-hour shift, Cindy, I'm so glad that you were able to tune in and relax a little bit with us and have some stamping time. Let me review all those card designs again in case you came in late. This is the Tidings and Trimmings card class. And so all the cards that we made tonight, there were 5 different designs and we had matching envelopes, of course. All of them used the Tidings of Christmas designer paper. Which card am I missing? Oh, the wreath. And the Tidings of Christmas designer paper, and then the Tidings and Trimmings stamp set bundle as well. And oh, where's the sheet? Oh, here it is. If you would like the PDF, which I have been referring to all night, it has the measurements and the photos and the instructions to make the cards. You can get this at tinyurl.com/July 2021 PDF. This will take you to my Etsy store. And so the PDF is $10, and then you can recreate these cards and have all the information that you need. Play the video again and rewatch, but I hope that whether you watched or whether you stamped along, you enjoyed tonight's cards. This is part of my Stamp of the Month card class series. So watch for a new card class late August. I'll be posting around the 15th what the featured stamps that will be, and the card kits will be limited. So if you want to get a card kit so that you can follow along and have everything pre-cut for you, all the cardstock pieces pre-cut for you, then make sure that you get in early on that so you can get yourself a card kit next time. If you have any ideas and suggestions for what you would like to see featured, please leave me a comment. I'm definitely open to suggestions and want to do something that you guys are going to love and want to create with me. Well, that's all for me tonight, but I hope that you'll tune in and catch my other videos. Thank you guys so much and have a great weekend. Bye.